Am I the asshole for telling my mother that I'm not playing replacement parent to her kids anymore?
I, 23F, currently live with my mother, 45F.
A couple of weeks ago I left due to an argument and didn't come back until yesterday.
When I came back, she called me into her room to talk and had her friend on the phone. This particular friend is supposed to be my godfather, even though I've never met him.
When I came into the room, the friend said that he was glad that I was home and that I needed to stop lashing out and not leave again. I told him that leaving for a little while was what was best for my mental health.
He and my mother both said, "No, it's not." And I replied with, "Maybe it's not to you, but it was to me, and you can't tell me what is and what isn't good for my mental health." They said that my siblings missed me and hate it when I leave.
I said that that's what happens when you grow up around other children. Eventually they grow up and leave and live their own lives.
They changed the subject and started talking about my siblings, 19M, 16M and 13F, saying that I needed to do more to help my mother with them and make sure that they do what they're supposed to do, like chores, schoolwork, etc.
I told her no. I've been basically raising my siblings my whole life and I wasn't going to play replacement parent to them anymore. And plus she's asked me to help before, and when I tried she wouldn't listen, and all she did was get angry at me and say, "You're not the mother." I am. Besides, they're all old enough to know what they're supposed to do.
My mother said that she's tired and needs a break and can't work and take care of them at the same time and really needs my help. I told her that I've been helping her without even a thank you, and now I'm done and need to start figuring out and living my own life. Her and her friend called me selfish and said that I only look at it that way because of my mindset and that I need to change my mindset and help the family more.
I stood my ground and said that I just wanted to focus on myself from now on, and that my siblings are old enough to know what they're supposed to do, and if they don't do it then she needs to discipline them. Her friend asked me what I think the proper discipline should be, and I said that's up to my mother. He said that's too much work for her to do and asked why she should have to worry about things like that after getting off of work, and said that I should do it. I stood my ground and said, "No.
You're asking me to play mommy to them, which I'm not going to do.
I'm the big sister, not the mother." They called me a selfish asshole for not wanting to be a part of the family and helping. So am I the asshole? Edit. A few people are asking where our father is.
We all have different dads.
I never knew mine.
My mother and 19 megaseconds father broke up when I was 6 and I never saw him again after that.
A year later my mother met and married 16M and 13F's father, and he died about 3 years ago. But even when he was alive I still did everything while they stayed in their room doing whatever. Not the asshole. Why is this random guy even involved?
He's not been helping raise you or your siblings. Gather your important documents and move out as soon as you can. Be an example to younger siblings that they can thrive away from your mom's poor parenting.
Were you NC those 2 weeks?
Did your mom even know you were safe?
Not the asshole.
Where's the father in all this?
And why am I getting vibes this godfather is actually your mom's boyfriend? Not your kids, not your responsibility.
If your mom couldn't handle working and taking care of kids, she could have done what plenty of adults do and have less or no kids in the first place. Again, I wonder where the father is in all this and why she's turning to opt for help instead of the father of her kids.
I would have told the guy you've never met to foe and that your life is none of his business. At 23 you should be starting your own future and not being a glorified babysitter for your siblings. Your mom had them, she can take care of them.
Tell the stranger, if it's that important, he can come over and babysit and be a pseudo-parent.
Not the asshole. NTA. 19 is grown, and 16 and 13 are on your mom. Look up parentification. I think it will explain a lot about what you're feeling.
What they are doing isn't right.
You're not the asshole. Honestly, sweetie, not the asshole. I was replacement parent for years, slightly diff circumstances though. My mom and I have had those sorts of arguments often. I stepped back a few years ago, let her do her thing, and 2 of my siblings ended up leaving home as soon as they could. One lives with me now, so not being a replacement parenting kinda backfired and my mom's raging about it, but the kid is happier and doing well, and I'm a lot calmer having stepped back and prioritizing my own self and unit XX. Am I the asshole for speaking to my stepmom like she's dumb? My stepmom has been in my life since I was 4 and my siblings were 2 and 1. Our parents are divorced. Our mom is not in our lives anymore, and she was a very inconsistent presence even when she was in our lives. I'm 17, female now for context. I generally get along okay with my stepmom, but this past year more than any other has been so bad. It started when my sister, 14, asked dad about mom. It was because of something that came up in school, but my stepmom got so jealous when the question was asked, and ever since that day she will randomly make disparaging comments about mom around us or directly to us. She has made it a point to say mom didn't want us, that mom chose mental illness over us, drugs over us, that one we never knew about, and dad was pissed at her for telling us the way she did. She also made a comment to my brother another time when he was doing a project on DNA that DNA isn't so great when DNA doesn't want you. We all pulled away from her because of this, and her comments got worse over time. To the point where she was getting irate about the topic of mom and us and mom abandoning us. I told her she wasn't helping close the distance between us with her anger and comments, and she told me we were treating her like trash for no reason and disrespecting her by bringing up the mom who abandoned us when she's right there. She told me she can't understand us treating her the way we have been for the last year when she is the one who raised us, not our bio mom. I told her that her comments about our bio mom were exactly why we pulled back. I said we know our mom left us, we know she chose to leave, we know she isn't a good mom, but she's still our mom. She still made us. We still had a bond with her. We still have some love and mixed emotions about her. I told her nobody wants to be reminded of that day after day or have it thrown in their face. I told her she's the adult. We're the kids. She's been throwing a year-long tantrum and diving us with her comments. I told her she wouldn't like it if we started making comments about her dad, who wasn't a great guy, and if we told her that her dad never loved her, he never wanted her. So why would we want to hear that about our mom? I told her if she doesn't want us to grow apart, then she needs to apologize and stop making those comments, and I reiterated that a couple of times, that we pulled back because of the comments, not because we're trying to disrespect her. By the end of the conversation she told me I had spoken to her like she was dumb and I didn't need to keep making the same point over again. She told me it made her feel disrespected and she left the room. Ever since there has been a new tension there. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your points are so well reasoned. Notice how the goalposts were moved. First, why are you treating me this way? Gives reasonable explanation. Then, what, am I dumb? You don't need to keep making the same points. She basically got her answer, couldn't accept it, and tried to change the topic to you. Not a mature look. Not the asshole. She told me I had spoken to her like she was dumb and I didn't need to keep making the same point over again. At some point you also need to explain irony to her. Not the asshole. It's almost impressive that she manages to see herself as the victim in a situation where a child asks about their dead mother who abandoned them. Major lack of empathy. Not the asshole. I'm so sorry that your stepmother keeps making those comments. That's honestly just shitty on her part. You're not at fault for the way she reacted, and she honestly seems immature about the whole situation. I'm sure she loves you and your siblings a lot, but that is simply not the way you treat someone you love. I hope that you all can have a peaceful conversation and she moves past all that jealousy and rage and understands where y'all are coming from and that y'all are allowed to still think about y'all's mom, even if she left. She needed to be told. She doesn't have to compete with a woman who's not there. But she needs to stop pretending she never was there. NTA. But maybe she will give you the cold shoulder and at least then you won't have to hear her mouth. Why is your dad keeping his mouth shut? Why is he afraid of her? Am I the asshole for refusing to attend my daughter's wedding? My daughter is planning a wedding with a man she's been seeing for 5 years. She met him at 20, and he's 8 years older. We were apprehensive at first because of the age difference, but he was respectful, attractive, smart, solidly employed, and treated our daughter well, so we got over our apprehension. Over the years, this man, let's call him John, was a bit of a big spender. We are not. We're solidly middle-class couple, and are financially conservative. Over the years, John has consistently assured us that he's financially okay, even savvy. He told us he is an avid fire movement enthusiast. He let us know about a big $150,000 win on GameStop. He let us know about a $500,000 inheritance and then another $500,000 windfall from a business sale. He shared his crypto knowledge and wins. He told us about the sale of a property he bought at the bottom of the market that he was selling at a handsome profit because he didn't like being a landlord. Meanwhile, he slowly became part of the family, coming to holidays and eventually vacations.
My daughter mentioned some red flags: heavy pot smoker, time-consuming online gamer, obsessive day trading, but after a few breakups he'd always course correct.
We're a few months away from the wedding, when he told my daughter that they'd have to wait 5 years to buy a house. This made no sense. My daughter has saved enough for a down on her own. He wants children within 2 years, so why wouldn't he want to find a home before then?
I pressed her to see the finances before they marry, and sure enough, he was lying.
Yes, his retirement is fully funded, but his savings is nowhere near where it should be based on all his stories and his age, income. He broke down crying, with story after story of where it all went wrong.
He rode GameStop back down to nothing. He broke even on the house. He lost the inheritance to bills of a relative. The business sale only netted 1/3 of what he expected. He's been living above his means. But it's partially my daughter's fault because she enjoyed those dates, right? As conservative spenders, we were perplexed by the Mercedes, the Peloton, and the latest gadgets, gaming systems, $1,500 scooter, etc.
And the spacious 2-bedroom apartment, without a roommate to offset costs. But our daughter would assure us that his plan was to retire at 40, and all his windfalls and smart investing allowed for all the extras. Now that we know the truth, we're sickened. He blatantly lied for years to my husband and I.
We wouldn't have cared if he was a regular guy financially, but feel that he created this facade so we wouldn't be concerned about his aggressive spending. We feel betrayed, and we feel he's a horrible con that can't be trusted, and that he most likely has a gambling problem. My daughter wants to move forward with a wedding, and we feel it will be the biggest mistake of her life.
She feels we're overreacting. Am I the asshole? Update: it's postponed.
It sunk in last night, and the gravity of 5 years of deception had her reassess. A rough road ahead, but the plan for all of us to reacquaint with this person and take this slowly. He was part of our family, and I believe we can all benefit from some family counseling to understand what exactly happened here.
Thanks, Reddit. Normally I would say mind your business about their finances, but wow, just wow. If she marries that jerk, she'll end up pregnant and flat broke within 6 months. Your concerns are valid and reasonable. Not the asshole.
She has no qualms about her future husband lying to her about something as big as finances for years?
She doesn't care that he can't retire at 40 or that the life they've been talking about is now impossible. I understand love, but come on.
You need to encourage her to take some time before she makes any big decisions, like getting married or calling off the wedding.
I understand your frustration. I'd be furious.
But please try to focus on creating space for her to safely land so she sees that going through with this isn't her only option.
I'm so sorry. Not the asshole. Your daughter is going to marry a conman or gambling addict.
If she doesn't get a prenuptial, make sure she knows what you will be able to give here when she's broke. Also, let's hope he has a secret vasectomy.
Not the asshole, but she needs a prenup and to keep their finances separate.
Separate accounts. If she buys a house, just her name on it because he probably has more debt than you are aware of. You can have him also print out his credit score to show you. The 3 credit bureaus give out free annual reports so you can see how his credit score is and what else he may not have revealed to your daughter. Sounds like she's heads over heels, and as long as she's aware of what she's marrying, it's her choice, but she should talk with a financial expert to be realistic on what to do to protect herself financially and what obligations she'll have once she's married. Not the asshole. You need to approach your daughter with love, and make her understand. Maybe get her friends involved or anyone who you know can talk some sense into her. The man is flat out lying to her about something so huge, and there is even a possibility that he groomed her, and that's why she's so adamant on marrying him. If all else fails and she still ends up marrying him for the sake of your daughter, attend the wedding so you don't lose touch with her and that she isn't isolated, but you guys are not wrong for being frustrated.
I don't think you're a-holes, but I think at some point you need to accept that she's an adult and makes her own decisions.
If you don't attend, you should be prepared to most likely be cut off and have nothing to do with her. This is a defining part in your relationship with her.
You'll either have a part in her life moving forward or not. If you want to be around if
things go to shit, then you should attend.
Am I the asshole for calling the police on my sister after she snuck shellfish into my food?
I, 21F, and my sister, 23F, have never had any issues until last week.
She and her husband, 23M, had invited me over for a lunch, which is normal for us.
I have a severe shellfish allergy. Even touching it makes me extremely itchy. My sister is completely aware of this and has been since we were children. When I got to their house, she said that food was already finished and in the fridge. She claimed that it was just a tuna pasta. Yes, I can eat tuna, and many other fish, just nothing with a shell. After she finished cleaning up, we had a short conversation about what's been happening in our lives since it had been a while since we'd seen each other.
I got this strange feeling from her but just brushed it off as I was extremely tired that day. She grabbed the food out of the fridge and served it for me, giving me a small bowl, in case one don't like it. I couldn't smell much of it, and from what I could smell I just assumed it was fish. But when I took a bite I almost immediately felt my throat burning. I was coughing and grabbing at my throat, and her husband kept asking me if I was choking. My sister turned to me panicking and saying, "I thought you were exaggerating." An ambulance was called and I was rushed to the hospital. I was thankfully okay, but they had made me stay to be monitored for next 2 days. My sister and brother-in-law had tried to visit me but I told her to get out. She kept apologizing and refusing to leave. I told her that I'll be calling the police on her for what she'd done, as it's literally attempted murder, and she lost it. She kept screaming at me saying, "I know you're faking this. You always act like you're allergic to shellfish, so I wanted to test you." I'd been pressing the call button for the nurse but they heard her regardless and had asked me if I wanted them removed. I said yes. I explained the whole situation to her and the hospital security and eventually decided that with the help of the nurse and security guards I'd file a report against her. My mother is saying I'm overreacting and that I should have just cut contact, but I don't know anymore. Am I the asshole? Edit. To everyone saying anything about medical bills, I have free healthcare in my country, so there's nothing I could do about that. Not the asshole. I read in another comment that your mother and sister had to take you to the hospital previously where a doctor informed them that it is a shellfish allergy. So what in the hell made your sister think you were faking? And why the hell is your mother blowing this off? Your sister needs to face consequences, and if it were me, I'd be NC with both of them. Not the asshole. Did she really scream that you were faking while you lay in a hospital bed from her poisoning you? What in the ever-loving? There's something wrong with some people, I think. Not the asshole. Who the F would risk testing if another person's allergy is fake or not? Not the asshole. She needs to pay for any costs you incurred. Whether you want to get her charged criminally is tricky, as it will affect your parents and likely have financial repercussions that might affect them, and any support inheritance for you. You have time to decide. Clearly not the asshole. Could people just stop their weird obsessions with other people's food? Regardless if it's their preference, allergy, intolerance, or other reasons like ARFID, it's not about you. P.S. Not relevant for judgment at all, but has your sister ever complained about your allergy before? It's just so weird straight out of the blue. I wonder what's going on there. Not the asshole. She kept screaming at me saying, "I know you're faking this. You always act like you're allergic to shellfish, so I wanted to test you." Why do people ever think that BS is even close to okay? I don't think she intended to kill you, but she knowingly and deliberately added something to your food which could have done exactly that. My mother is saying I'm overreacting and that I should have just cut contact. You're not overreacting. Do what you feel is right.